Welcome to the training video for the installation of the Optex OA Edge T onto the Premier Swing 85 swing door operator. When fitting the OA Edge T, one of the important things to remember is not to fit the sensor so it is too close to the back edge of the door. When the door is in the open position, you don't want the sensor to hit the frame. So therefore we've come in approximately 50mm from the edge of the frame. Once the sensor's cut to length, you can mark your fixing holes. Please don't forget you do need a large clearance hole to allow the connection cable between both sides of the door. Once all your screws are drilled and marked correctly, fit your sensor. Make sure it's nice and tight and show your holes all line up to get your draw cable through between both sides of the doors. Fitting the cable transfer loop is predominantly a site-specific requirement. They can be fitted in various ways. As per this one, we've fitted the cable transfer loop through to the end cap of the operator. They can be fitted direct to the frame, and your cables can be brought through the frame into the back of the operator. Each site is specific. You will need to make that decision how you get the cable transfer between the door and the operator. When fitting the sensor bodies, the TX of the sensor body must always be fitted to the leading edge of the door. You must also fit the retaining clips to the sensor body. When fitting the components inside the rail, the first component to fit is the LED module. It's advisable to attach the cable before you actually fit it in the module. The next component is the module itself. If the clips are fitted correctly, again, they just clip into the rail. And slide the module across. You need 70mm from the end of the door to the end of the module. The LED module plugs into just below the TX. Your interlink cable goes into either of the slots underneath the TUV node beside the function switch. And then that passes through the door. The main grape cable plugs into the side of the sensor. Fitting the closing face safety sensor. Again, the TX must be towards the leading edge of the door. Connection to the on-door safety at the processor. If you've got a pair of doors, each door must be connected to the individual processor. The connections go into terminal blocks number 8 to number 19. Number 8 is white, number 9 is brown, number 10 is pink, 11 is blue, number 12 is black, 13 is purple. Number 16 on the second block is green, number 17 is yellow. When setting the sensors up, it's imperative that the dip switches must be set correctly. The majority of dip switch settings are all done on the master module. The master is designated by which side the main cable is connected to. As you will see on this operator, we have the operator on the same side as the master module with the cable coming down through the armoured loop and plugging into the side of the module. Dip switches A1 and B1 set the non-detection zone. That is adjustable between 15 centimeters and 45 centimeters, dependent on dip switch selection. Dip switch A2 is the frequency. If you have a master and slave operator, you must set the frequency different to the master and slave. Dip switch A3 is the immunity. If the sensor starts ghosting, you may need to turn the immunity on. Dip switch A4 is your presence timer. This must always be set to 60 seconds. Dip switches A5 and A6 are not used, they must be left in the off position. For the sensor to work correctly with the Global 85 operator, dip switch A7 must be set to on. The operator always tests low, therefore the sensor must be set correctly for that to work. Dip switch A8 is the test timer. The global operator works best on 20 milliseconds, therefore 8 must be on as well. Dip switch B1 you've done with the non-detection zone, that works with A1 as to set the non-detection zone. Dip switch B2 selects either 2 spots or 4 spots. 4 spots will give you a wider width of detection. Dip switch B3 is the self-monitoring. This must be enabled, therefore the dip switch must be in the off position. The final dip switch, B4, selects the opening or closing face. As this sensor is fitted to the opening face, B4 is selected off. The opposite side must be selected on. That then determines that is the closing side of the door. Once all the dip switches are set correctly, you need to initialize the sensor and then learn the sensor. To initialize the sensor, you press and hold the function switch for more than 2 seconds and step out of the way. Follow the sequence of flashes. Once it's gone green, you need to learn the sensor, which is a shorter press, 1 second, and then step out of the way. The sensor will then set the non-detection zone, and once the LED has gone green, you know the sensor is set up correctly. You can test that by activating the sensor each side of the door. The opening face safety, the LED module, one LED will turn red, and for the opposite side the LED will turn orange. You know the door is then, you will know the sensor is then set up correctly.